Welcome in to Two Bald Guys on a Microphone. Of course, I'm Deke, and you'll see nothing here. Coach is out in Texas having a good time with family. Sheila, how are you? Good morning, my dear, all the way from Nairobi, Kenya. Good to have you. Shayna, good morning. Hey, of course, Two Bald Guys and Microphone brought to you through the financial support of our good friends over at Natural Therapy Wellness Center, www.mchenrymmassage.com, 815-385-8190, and acupuncture, massage, Thai yoga massage. You name it, they've got it. John and his team over there, the best of the Fox, and all licensed massage therapists. So we are excited to partner with them and have their support always. And you'll see flash on the screen behind me here, our good friends over at J&H Flowers and Events, or Events and Flowers, excuse me, J&H Events and Flowers. Great stuff. And they are the home of the $5 Friday flowers. So if you don't have a lot of money and you want some fresh flowers around the house, get a bundle, a nice bouquet for $5. Damon K. Ross is going to be sitting in for Coach. He's on his way. Just one of those mornings for him, so he's running a little late, but he will be here, so we'll get his input, which is absolutely fantastic. Just a good week all around, and a fun week. So the fun thing for me coming up is next week. On the 5th is my daughter's wedding, so I'm preconceived with a lot of that stuff and a lot of goofy stuff going on in preparing for the wedding. Today, we're going to be talking about whose voice do you hear in your own head? Now, I want to just lay this out there. I'm not a psychologist, a psychiatrist. I don't play one on the radio. I don't play one on social media. And I'm not talking about schizophrenia. I'm not talking about hearing voices. I'm talking about your inner monologue. That little voice in your head that you listen to. And whose voice is it? Have you ever just taken a time out to listen to whose voice it is? And what I'm saying is it your dad's? Is it your mom's? Is it your priest's? Is it your, you name it, your brother, your mother? Whose is it, and why is it that you hear it? And most importantly, do you allow it to alter the way that you think, move, feel, whatever? Of course, right off the bat, we talk about our reboot. Reboot is that piece of the show where we talk about recognizing, educating, believing, right? The operating system. You need to orchestrate in the test. We've been through that a lot on all these shows. But we're really focusing on the R today. Recognize. Do you recognize that voice in your head? Whose is it? Is it yours? Is it yours that you hear verbally, or is it yours that you hear on a playback from a cassette tape or one of these shows? You're like, that's what I sound like. I play, with headphones on so much of the time that I am very, very comfortable with my own voice. So yeah, there's a ton. I mean, I did a lot of research on this. and there's so many different things out there, and there's not a I mean, there's a lot of deep medical type articles and things out there that try to explain it, and I really didn't want to run down that way. But what we wanted to talk about was what's in your head. Shayna says, ever have a moment on the bench when an epiphany hits and you are like, nope, not for me? It is it that voice? Yes. Yes. So it is. It's not the screaming voices of terror inside your head. It's the one that guides you, right? It's the little voice in your head. It may be aligning all your thoughts. Good morning, bro. How are you, man? Good, bro. A fun day already.
I got here sooner than I thought.
I was like, man, I was expecting to be about 15 minutes late. That's pretty good. Yeah. That was nice. So forgot the phone and then detour.
Yeah, and then as we're talking about voices, the voice in my head said, "You don't need that phone." But then that addictive part of my brain was like, "Yeah, you do. Yeah, you might miss something. Like, what am I gonna miss at 8 o'clock?"
Yes, you do need that. Yeah, and that's we battle that voice every day. There's things to what Shane is saying. It kind of is that little voice that says, hey, don't do it, or try to keep safe, or your dad told you about this, or there's right. It's in there, right? And it's not uncommon today to be filled with just a ton of introspective time. We all think we're very busy, but if you really think about it, there's a ton of time during the day that's very introspective.
Yeah. That busyness that a lot of us think that we're experiencing is just the thoughts that are running through our heads. And it's like, okay, what voice is that? Whose voice am I listening to? What's the source of the voice that I'm listening to? So yeah, it's very interesting. And it really wears you out.
Yeah.
And so you feel like you've really had a busy day sometimes, and it's like, wait, what did I actually do?
Yeah, and I think there's different voices at different times in your life. So leaving high school, the voice that I had in my head was that of my varsity basketball coach, who said, you'll never play college basketball, you're not good enough. And that tape kept rewinding. I heard that voice, you're not good enough, you won't make it. Right. And that was my motivation because some of you may be surprised with my personality is fuck you, right? I'll show you. Here we go.
Not you.
Yeah, and so for a season, I heard that. And when I say season, not basketball season, a season of my life, that his voice is the one that I heard saying, you're not good enough.
That's interesting. I wonder what that motivation was. But anyway, so you said you had that voice running through your head. How many times throughout your life have you had a voice like that wasn't yours, that said, hey, you can or can't do something, but it was somebody else's?
Probably a ton. But as we've been preparing for this show this week, I've been trying to pay attention to, and it's just my voice.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm sure there are, my dad, a brilliant soul, and he, as a kid, you make lightning with the light switch, and the lights go on and off, on and off. You're like, yeah. And my dad's like, well, that light switch only has so many on and offs, and now you can't turn it on and off that many times now. Right. So there are times where I'm like doing that with my kids, like, and I hear my dad's voice going, well, that's one less time you can turn that thing on,
Yeah.
So it depends on the situation, I guess. And where I'm at. And then is that a voice in your head, or is that a memory?
It's a good question. That's a good, well, I guess a way to think about it is that thought guiding you? Because like you said, if it's something that it pops into my mind right now, okay, yeah, maybe we call that a memory.
Yeah.
But it's the one, like you said, where when you were working on your basketball game,
Yeah.
that was a voice in your head saying you're not good enough.
Mhm.
You're not good enough. But so I guess the thing that I've been thinking about is we have these conflicting voices, because you have the one voice telling you you can't do it, but then there's that other voice that's saying, yes, you can. I'm going to prove them wrong.
Yeah.
So which voice is yours?
Yeah. But looking back at it, right, that voice ruined me.
How so?
Right.
Tell me more.
And it ruined me this way. The way that it ruined me was I kept hearing, you're not good enough. 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 Right. And so now there are moments in my life where you're like, man, I can do this. And you hear, you're not good enough. You're not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Which then sets in the self-doubt, which then sets in the, oh, maybe I will pull back a little bit. Maybe you're right.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just stay comfortable inside the box here and just, right.
No, that makes
Now I don't listen
sense.
to that voice, or do I?
That's well,
right.
I don't think consciously we listen to that voice,
Right.
but like you said, based on our action or inaction, we are listening to that voice.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna touch on a little bit of a touchy subject here, it might be, but I feel like sometimes in the Black community, we suffer from that.
Sure.
Because I know for myself, I grew up in certain instances hearing, oh, the white man's not going to let you do that. Black people don't do that. That's not a Black people thing. And so you grow with this mind state that says, I can't do that. But then what happens when you get older? Your mind is still stuck on that. But now, instead of looking inside and finding their own voice, this other voice is saying, oh, you can't do that because they won't allow you to. And so now you go with this chip on your shoulder about some people that never said anything about you, but people that look like you told you that they're thinking that. And so whose voice is dictating that? And, and then this goes another step, again, touchy. So, we'll go there. You heard about that song that's a hot topic right now, right?
Yeah, we can go with that too. Yes.
So, and again, I want to make sure we're sticking to the voice that's in your head and not so much get caught up
political garbage
into the topic of it. But there's a song by Jason Aldean that a lot of people are
in a small town or something.
Try that in a small town.
There you go. Yeah.
And so I've been seeing a lot of conversations and things about that, and people are saying like, "Oh, this is a racist song." The guy never said anything about race in a song. He talked about crimes that happened and said, if you try that in a small town, we'll deal with it.
Yep.
So if your mind goes to these crimes equal Black people, whose thought is that?
Right.
Is that his thought? No, he just said, hey, these crimes are boom, boom, boom. Your mind went to, oh, these are Black people he's talking about. These are Black people's crimes.
Right.
But but is that your voice, or is that society's voice? Or does your parents' voice? Is it the media's voice? Or exactly. So we have to be aware of those things, because if you sit, when you sit back and really analyze things and take the time to look at it and be an observer, then think about, okay, is that my voice that I'm hearing that's telling me these things, or is it a program that's been running in the background?
Right.
And it goes to the same thing like you talked about with what your coach said.
Yeah. So
it's a tape running in the background.
Right.
But is that your
voice? Right. So Shayna says when fear is in play, it's probably not intuition. Right. Yeah. And then ego can produce all sorts of justification.
Absolutely.
We all do it. Jen says, what's the phrase or keyword you tell yourself when those lower vibration thoughts creep into your mind? You're going to have to go deeper on that for me, Jen. Yeah. I'm seeing countless Black people coming forward to call foul. Tide is turning. And good morning, Lisa. So here's And we'll talk about this. Last week we talked about personal challenge,
Right.
and then I said, "Hey, come in." And my challenge, Jen's husband gave me, gave me a mantra. If you tuned into the grounds, you heard me, that for 3 times a day, I'm reading. I will not get angry today. I will not worry today. I will be grateful today. I will work hard and smart today. I will be kind to everything, and I will not judge anything. So I've been saying this, and you say it with meaning, and that's my challenge. And so I've been doing that, right? And it's amazing, and I'm doing it in my voice, and it's amazing what I hear. So this might surprise several of you, where I was ready, and my thumbs were on the go, and let's talk. As my good friend Marlon Madden from the Success Journey show says, time to let it fly. Right? And I was ready to just be like, okay, you're all, pop, pop, pop. I was going to lay it out there. And I said, wait a minute, I'm not going to get angry today.
Yeah.
Right. And so here's the truth to that. The truth to that is this. I listen to a lot of country music. Anybody who knows me, I listen to a lot of country music.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I listen to a lot of everything. That's why the station is non-genre, but I listen to a lot of country music. I ain't never heard that song. Okay.
Interesting.
Okay. And I like Jason Aldean. He's probably, I've got thumbs up on Pandora, all that good stuff on it. But I had never heard the song. Now, I also love Snoop Dogg. I love on my playlist, you're gonna get NWA. I mean, right. you're gonna get some Too Short. I mean, I go everywhere, and those are some pretty aggressive songs as well.
Yep.
Right. And I knew people would start going, oh, but look at the lyrics here. It's not what it's about. Listen, what I want to tell people is, and what my inner voice said, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. So I didn't. But what I want to tell people is, don't listen to it. If it irritates you, don't listen to it. I mean, right?
You're being logical here.
I don't understand.
People don't like logic.
I don't understand. And I'm just like, then don't buy his album. Or I don't know, you don't buy albums anymore, I guess. But you know what I'm saying?
Right. Don't stream it.
Right. Don't stream it. Give him a thumbs down, whatever. And I'm just like, why is this such a big deal? And meanwhile, again, as human beings, we're standing up for our, this thing. And meanwhile, he's like Scrooge McDuck. He's diving in his piles of money right now.
Yeah, the song came out back in May, I think.
Yeah.
The video is what sparked whatever. Right. And again, that voice that tells you get angry. Whose voice is that? And that's what we all need to sit back and analyze and view. It's like, where is this emotion coming from? Yeah. There's clearly something telling me this, but whose voice is that?
Whose voice is
that your voice?
Yeah.
And that's, a lot of the conflict that happens is because we've got these tapes, like I said, playing in the background of someone else's voice that has told us this is how it is. This is what is happening. This is what you're supposed to think.
Yeah.
And if you don't think this way,
well, and
there's a consequence.
And here's that voice, because it's not yours, you allow it to irritate you or motivate you, perhaps. Mm-hmm. Let's say motivate. Not irritate, but maybe motivate you to do something. And the bottom line is, it's not a voice. Right? It's not audible. Right. You're not hearing. So a lot of times what I do, and my wife will tell you, you said it 3 times. Now you got to do it. Right? If I'm going through, if I'm trying to work something out, I'm going to tell that person, pop, 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 pop. If I say it 3 times, she's like, go do it. Because if I say it 3 times, she's like, you're not going to do it because you think you already have.
That's interesting.
Right? Because I've heard it out of my mouth.
Right. That's interesting.
And after 31 years of marriage, I mean, she knows. So then I've got to, all right, she'll go call them now.
Right.
I mean, she'll literally, I don't want to hear it anymore. talk to that, you know, and so that voice, I think, motivates people, but it's not our voice. It's a social media voice. It's a governmental voice. It's a voice that we've allowed some narrative or somebody to put inside of our head to go, I need to be angry right now.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, now, again, and I will be honest with you, I haven't heard the song front to back. If I have, I don't remember. Right.
Right.
But with all this nonsense going on, I have decided, well, I'm not going to go listen to it. If it comes across, I'll listen. I'm not going to go out of my way to see what the big deal is, because I can now literally have a good conversation with people and go, don't listen to it.
Yeah.
I mean, country is my jam. I don't recall listening to that. I'm certainly not. I mean, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just me saying that. So Jen says, train your brain to not receive or listen to doubtful thoughts by stopping them. Reject the thought that thoughts that bring you down, such as I'm not good enough. When that thought creeps in, you stop it by saying a phrase or singing a jingle. It retrains your brain to automatically take those negative thoughts and release them before you have an emotional reaction to them. Interesting. Yeah, I've never done that.
Yeah. No, I like that idea. There's a woman, Lisa Nichols, who I got introduced to her a few years ago. Her material, like her on social media, not in person. And she talks about something similar to that. This exercise that she talks about doing, where you take pieces, several pieces of paper, you write down, whatever negative thoughts that you have, you write it down in pen or pen. I can't remember. I think you write it down in pencil. Then you skip several spaces, but you write a bunch of these out, and then underneath it, in pen, you write the opposite or the truth. So you write the lie, then you write the truth.
Okay.
And
so you write down, I'm not good enough.
Right. I'm not good enough. And then the other one, maybe you don't believe I am good enough, but whatever the truth is, I have the ability to get better, whatever. Right. So you read those for, I think it's like 7 days. And then after 7 days, you erase the lie and you only say the truth. But the purpose of it is, like Jen was saying, is you're training your brain to immediately, when the negative comes in, to immediately replace it.
Yeah.
Now what I will challenge, and I have to use that word, but challenge a little bit, is to say to try to stop it. Like you can't stop thoughts. We can't stop thoughts. What we want to learn how to do is to observe the thoughts, and by observing the thoughts and looking at them and letting them pass, or responding in the way that you're suggesting by responding with the positive. But we can't stop it, and to try to stop it and to force it, like you're doing yourself more damage, because what we resist persists. Yeah. So,
and that's kind of what Shane is saying, is many smarter than me say the statement, I am followed by a truth, is very powerful. Streisand effect is making the guy bank. Oh, yes. Yeah. It's just everybody now is, I gotta go listen to it.
Yeah.
Hold on.
No problem. And I'm not a country fan per se, at all, really, but I actually like the song.
Yeah. But I have, like I said, I if I've heard it, I don't remember.
Yeah.
I didn't go out.
Yeah.
But that's the way we grew up. Gen Xers, right? It's like, hey, come on, we take care of our own here.
Yeah, exactly.
You want an ass whooping? I'll give you an ass whooping.
Exactly.
Step up. The whole town's got our back. Let's go. Culture dictates programming, right? And that's kind of what you're saying, right? It's whose voice, and it's culture. Why are you a Bears fan? Did you choose your religion? Ad guys get the big bucks to make purchases seem like your decision. Well, yeah, absolutely. Right. Well, listen, if you talk to any Chicago Bears fan, they'll just say 1985. I love making fun of Bears
What else
fans.
can they say?
I know. I'm a Bears fan, but I'm a realist too, because I'm like, well, you can't. Let's get out of the '80s. It's 40
Right.
years later right now, right? Let's move on. Awareness is the key, Lisa says. And hey, Lisa, great feedback on your show. Good show. Living Outside the Box Sunday mornings at 9. Great stuff.
Yeah.
Just a lot of positive feedback. Excited to have you. Of course, that's every other Sunday, so not this Sunday, but she'll be back on the 6th. It'll be great. But if you haven't checked it out, check it out on YouTube or on our Facebook page. Good stuff. Great stuff.
Yeah. Did we talk about Reboot?
Yeah, we were in the Recognize. So recognizing the voice, where we're at. I don't have my watch on today. So if we were to roll into brain training, here's the brain train for today. And I've got a story that works right along with all this good stuff. So the brain train is you're only afraid of you're only afraid of things that you notice, not of things that you don't notice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So last night, let me tell you something. Brother was on. I get home. It's on from 8 to 9. Of course, our All-Star Wrestling with Tim and Tom. And I drove my truck here because I had to get some water, coffee, refill the stuff here at the station. And when I got home from work, and now I got a motorcycle. I absolutely love riding, and it's been great riding weather, right? So I get home at about 4:30 yesterday, park my bike in front of my workshop. We got a 3-car garage. One stall is my workshop, right?
Okay.
That's what's important. I go inside, I eat, whatever. I get in the truck, I come here, and boom. My bike's still outside. Okay. And so I'm like, I gotta put my bike in the garage. So it's dark out front of the house. The lights are on the headlights of the truck. They park next to it. So I jump on my bike and I kick that thing into neutral and I start backing it up. Right. And I'm sitting on my bike and I'm backing it up, getting it into the garage. Right. Now the light's on in the garage.
Okay.
Right. I'm fine. Everything is absolutely glorious.
Okay.
Right. I get in the garage and I go to move and I look down, and on the tank of my motorcycle is a 4-foot snake. It is a 4-foot corn snake. Now, corn snakes look like rattlers. They're designed that they don't have a rattle, but they look like rattlesnakes,
Okay.
and they kind of coil the same way. Now, at this point in time, as a 54-year-old man, I'm not scared of getting on my bike and backing it up into the garage.
Right.
Right now, you got to look what I'm doing because it's a heavy bike, right? It's a 750. It's kind of a big bike. And so right in my crotch is the tank. And when I pull in and I look down, I am like, what the fuck? And I'm looking for the kickstand as hard as I can find the kick. I can't find the kickstand because I'm looking at this snake. The snake's looking at me like, and I'm like, Mom,
No way.
what?
No.
Now, again, I'm not afraid of snakes, but that was a surprise.
Right.
Now I'm afraid because there's a snake in my lap.
Right.
That looks like a rattler. Now there are not rattlesnakes here, as far as I know.
Yeah.
That's the story I'm telling myself. That's the voice I hear in my brain, right? And so I finally get the kickstand down, and I peel my leg off, and then I watch the snake go down around the front of the tank, but I don't see him hit the floor, and I don't want him in the garage.
Right. Of course not.
Right. So I back up and I open the door and I yell like, "Give me a broom!" Right now, at this point, again, not really scared of snakes, But now I'm freaking out because it surprised me.
Right.
And all like, is this thing gonna eat me? I got shorts on. I mean, everything's going crazy, right? And so I open the door, I'm watching the bike, see if it comes off, doesn't come off the bike. So it's got to be wrapped around in the engine or something.
Right.
I open there, give me a broom, right? Nobody's coming. Finally, I open the third time. I need a broom quickly. And my wife's like, hold on. That's my Alice voice, if you know Alice. And so she brings me a broom, and I can't find this snake anywhere on the bike. So what I had done, now my mind is, oh crap, where is this snake?
Right.
Now my mind, I've got to get this out of the garage. I don't want it in the garage. We got to close the garage door. I don't want a 4-foot snake in my garage.
Right.
And so I get the flashlight. I'm looking in. I can't see it anywhere. Well, what it had done is it had gotten underneath the gas tank. Right. I'm kind of out of sight. And then I finally saw it. So I get a dowel. We always do crafts and stuff. So I have a dowel. So I start poking this snake. And and by this time now, Lucy, my daughter, my 14-year-old's out there video. This thing, I'm sweating, right? It's 80 degrees. I'm sweating. I'm sweating, starting to talk about this. And so I finally get it, and I keep poking it. And I think finally gets irritated and is like, I gotta get out of here. This is not a safe place. Right. So I use the dowel and I scurry it off to the backyard, like, go on.
Right.
And it wanted to go in the garage. I'm like, nope, stay out of the garage. So I kind of work the little snake out of there, 4-footer, right? So the voice in my head now that I hear, and this is why I say this, we get brain training, is we're really not scared until we start making up stories in our head. Right?
True.
Now we eliminate the snake, but now the voice in my head is, it laid eggs in there. You're going to be driving 55 miles an hour, and all these snakes are going to come out on you.
10 baby snakes.
And I'm like, so I'm trying to talk to myself and go, why are you making up this story? This is ridiculous.
Right. But now every time you leave the bike,
that bike's going to the garage right away. Close the door. Boop, right. And it was just chilling on my tank, and it looked right at me like, hey,
how you doing?
What? I freaked out, right?
That's hilarious.
So I had to now once I caught my breath, I had to train my brain. Okay, it's a corn snake, it's little, we'll get it out of here. Right. And it did. And but that thing was a little pissed. I was surprised. I was like, hey, it was probably nice and warm, or cool and warm, because the tank was probably cool that point in the night.
Oh,
not and there's, I live, my backyard is really a cornfield, so this isn't the first snake that we see snakes all the time. And I was just like, but I was not expecting to see a snake in my lap.
Right.
I just about, I may have even sat on it. I just jumped on and started backing the thing up. And
I
it's
probably
right by my hands. I
probably would pee my pants.
Oh. I didn't know what, it was crazy. I was like, oh my gosh. And what they do, what corn snakes do too, if you're unaware, corn snakes they'll move their tail like a rattler, but it doesn't have a rattle. So as I was trying to poke it out, you could hear the, and my daughter's like, I think it's a rattler. I said, it's not a rattlesnake. It's just hitting a piece of plastic in there.
Right. Too funny.
Yeah. Shannon says that right there is where you would find my dead body.
Exactly.
I'll tell you what. It was surreal. And the amazing thing was, I didn't dream about it. I was like, I'm gonna have nightmares of snakes, right? And I didn't. But I did dream about somebody breaking my nose. I don't know.
What's the correlation?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out too. So anyway, you have to train your brain to what I'm saying there, the brain training is you have to train your brain, as you and Jen are saying, to all right, what am I listening to, and why have I created this story now?
Yeah.
Right, because I'm going to tell you what. Yeah, I will see if Lucy can send it to me. I mean, it's just me chasing, trying to poke the snake out. I'm
Right.
sweating profusely because that's what I do, and then scurrying it off. But yeah, I will. I'll see if Lucy can give it to me. I'll post it up on there. But the best part would have been if somebody, if we had like a Ring doorbell. I am sure.
Oh yeah. That is hilarious.
It didn't. I mean,
I would have freaked out.
I'm surprised they didn't drop the bike. Right.
Yeah.
I'm looking. I'm going like this, looking for the kickstand to put that thing down. And while I'm doing that, the snake is just looking at me like, "Hey, bro,
why you mad?
Why you mad?" It was so surreal, and I'm just like, "Oh, thank God! I saw it." And I mean, could you imagine?
Right. Your wife
55 miles an hour, and that thing comes up.
Oh yeah. I didn't think of that. I'm thinking about your wife or daughters walking out in the garage and seeing it, but yeah. Oh yeah.
So now I will be honest. When I ride the bike, probably on Friday morning, because I got to take the truck tomorrow, but I got the truck today. But when I ride that bike on Friday morning, I'll probably let it run for a good 10 minutes. It's like, vroom, well, it's like anything gonna get out of there. I don't know, whatever. But it was woo-wee. Yeah. But the good news is, right? I mean, knowing that we got the snakes, the field mice aren't bad.
Yeah.
It's kind of the circle of life.
Yeah.
It was nuts. It was absolutely crazy.
Interesting.
Just, I wish we would have got the video when I saw that thing. All that came out of my mouth was like, the fuck. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I puckered. I'll tell you that. It was like everything. It was bad.
I'm sure.
So the voice, and then this morning, right? Again, what voices do we hear? And I don't know whose voice it was. I had to go out to the garage with
Right.
Is there a brood of snakes in my garage now waiting for me? Like, hey, you poked our friend. What are you doing?
He went and got his boy.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's funny.
And then we've got a beautifully covered patio, and I've seen a lot of DIY things where snakes are in rafters and things. So now I'm like, oh my God, our snake's gonna be falling out, no. And again, it's this voice in my head that's created this story that's not real, it's false.
Right.
But am I listening to it? And if it wasn't for preparing for the show, I probably would allow these stories to go on. But to Jen's point, to Shayna's point, your point is, I'm like, it's a story, Kent. This has not happened. You're creating false things here.
Right. And I guess the question I have is, like, why do we get conditioned to create those stories?
Right.
Like, that's always an interesting thing, because we have a plethora of experiences that we have throughout our lives, but I always stay curious as to why we cling to the scary ones.
Yeah.
And my best guess is because, as we've talked about on the show before, it's like our brains are designed to keep us safe. So we're always looking for the danger. And so how do we learn? And I think the thing we need to learn how to do is learn how to be the observer, like I said, of these voices and thoughts that go on inside of our head. Because if we allow them to roam freely without any type of challenge or response,
right?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it have you running scared for forever.
And I and again, not a psychologist, but maybe this is where a crazy serial killer, they start going, oh, well, I got to listen to that voice.
Yeah.
This is a divine, or the psychological wackadoo.
Yeah.
Maybe that's again. Are there no? Why I hadn't been afraid of snakes falling out of the rafters of my cupboard.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I now?
Yeah.
There was a snake. It was a hot night, blacktop driveway. The thing was probably like, dang, this hot. I wonder what this is. Ooh, this is cool up here on this metal tank. So I'm warm and cool. It's what snakes do, right?
Right.
So it was probably like, cool, thanks, bro.
Right.
Like I appreciate the coolness. But now I've created scenarios in my head that perhaps will never happen.
Yeah. Well, what you said something a second ago that just brought up a thought when you mentioned for like serial killers or people of that nature who hear those voices and they succumb to them for whatever reason. And I wonder about, again, I wonder about that too. And I just try to look at all of this stuff with curiosity. But I think it's interesting that, people that fall into those traps, I wonder, like, where were the people that were around them? Because I think for us to find that voice that we need, we do need to look to other people to help guide us in that manner.
Mm-hmm.
And so what is it that you want to do, or what type of person do you want to become? And I think when you start to ask those questions, it'll help you in deciding which one of those voices to listen to. Because as much as we don't want to admit it or not, we all have crazy like thoughts that if we were to really open up the floodgates, we will be embarrassed that we have these thoughts.
Yeah.
And we all have them.
Oh, yeah.
And so, like I said, the objective is to learn how to become the observers of those voices and figuring out what type of person do we want to be. So as we observe these thoughts, we know which ones to listen to and which ones to let pass on through.
Yeah. And Lisa says the inner unconscious voice is of a child under 9. So when the imagination kicks in, it's that same little boy and where his mind or imagination would have gone. And a lot of that is because like the very first movie outside of Mary Poppins that I remember seeing was Birds. Alfred Hitchcock. I hate Birds to this day. And Shana says, hey, Damon, were you always so introspective? Family influence?
No, I wouldn't say that. Well, you know what? Ish. I was always just kind of one that would ask those weird questions as a kid growing up. I won't necessarily say it was family influence, but I think some of the questions and things that went against the tradition or the idealistic thoughts, at least in my family, were always challenged. So it made me ask more. It's like, okay, why is that not acceptable? Like, so I go, here's one of the examples that I use for people, just kind of how my brain always worked. I remember as a kid, the church that I grew up going to, like we had to get dressed up.
Like Sunday best.
I mean, Sunday's best.
Yeah.
And I don't know where this thinking came from, but I as a kid remember asking, like, why do we have to do that? Now all kids ask that. Right. And it's kind of like, because you just don't want to dress up. But I took it a step further and I was like, wait a minute, but if God is supposed to love us and look at our hearts, then he won't care what we're dressed in. And I was like 5 or 6 years old. I'm not talking about I was old. I don't know where that thought came from. So I have kind of always been weird.
Been introspective.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, he don't see me on Monday through Saturday.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Hey, but at the same time, right? You teachers used to dress up in shirt and tie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Teachers used to dress to the nines too.
Yeah.
Not so much anymore. I can't. When you get old like us, right? You're close, right? But you get old. What happens is I can't tell the teachers from the students now, because like when I was in school, all the teachers were like 90, right? Now they're all like 26, and you're just like, where were you young kids when I was in school?
Yeah, I remember having a teacher, Miss Siegenthaler, She was younger when I was a senior in high school. And because she was so young, I would say, "Hey, can I call you by your first name?" She was like, "No," and I would always want to. So she said, "I'll make a deal with you. On the day of graduation, you can call me by my first name." So I remember walking down the aisle, to go to our seats, and she was on the thing, and I was like, "Hey, Allison, how are you?" It was like the happiest day of my life. I don't know why, just weird stuff. But yeah, as far as the introspection, I just got introduced to, as I got older, I got introduced to things, and I've just always been very curious. And so that curiosity just led me to look deeper within things and not accept things on the surface level. Because what I found is most things on the surface level are crap. So
yeah, well, but I'm that way. I mean, that's why I think you and I get along so well. Lisa's that way as well. I know that. I'm just curious, right? And I'm fascinated with things. I'm fascinated since you and I said, okay, let's tackle this in the next couple weeks. I've been paying attention. I've been asking questions of people.
Yeah.
And it's not. I don't want to put together a doctoral thesis. But now I'm like, what is that voice? Whose is it?
Mm-hmm.
I know what it is, but whose is it? And then when I'm hearing it, to Jen's point, I'm starting to consciously go, why am I hearing that voice?
Yeah.
Right. Like we'll go back to the song and everybody's up in arms. Well, I, of course, owning this and having the shows we have, I get people who send me TikToks on it, and look what's in the video, and blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
And I and I sit here and I want to fire back, and I'm like, I just go, but
yeah,
right? Because if you don't respond to somebody or answer their text or whatever, what's wrong?
right?
And so I'm just like, or a thumbs up, like, got it,
Right.
But again, the inner voice in my head said, okay, step back, let's clear the air and go ham on them. And then I had to stop and go, why?
Yeah.
Well, you don't even know what the song says, Ken. You never heard the song, right?
And that's what I'm talking about right there. Because you have, with a lot of these topics that we're dealing with in society, we have people that respond to things without any context. And it's like, whose voice are you listening to? Whose voice is telling you to respond to that? Because I've had, a few situations where, excuse me, where, people post something and it'll be a headline or whatever. Yeah. And then I'll go look it up. And a lot of times the article will have nothing to do with the headline, and it'll say, sometimes it'll contradict what the headline says, but it's designed to get you. And so, I'll tell people, it's like, no, blah, blah, blah. And they go, oh, it's like, yeah. So what, whose voice are you listening to?
I got a Facebook, or I got somebody sent a TikTok of some guy. And then when I looked into this guy, it's not like a professor at Harvard or anything like that. It's some guy who just is a gaslighter. He'll pick out little things from wherever just to irritate people. And he gets a huge following, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's figured out what social media is supposed to do. And I just scratched my head and I'm like, you don't even know this guy or who this guy is. Yep. Why would you just put any weight in that, right? Have you met anybody who says they don't hear that, they don't have that inner monologue, they don't?
No, I haven't personally met anybody that has said that.
Yeah, I haven't either, right? But there are a lot of people call, oh, my gut.
Yeah.
They'll take that inner voice and go, my gut.
Yeah.
And they're talking about intuition, I guess, or their gut feeling. But I'm like, I don't know. My gut just is like, hey, buddy, you're hungry. Time to eat.
No, but there is some truth to that, though. And I think people, I think it's interpretation, because sometimes that feeling is the voice.
Yeah.
But we label it as something different.
Yeah.
So
Time for Demonte Ross and Always Believe in You. I don't know if we got anything. We can just keep talking, whatever.
No, I mean, just
You are the show today.
just no, just stressing the thing that we've been talking about, or that I've been trying to stress today, is learning how to be the observer of the voice and paying really close attention to whose voice you're listening to, because you can get yourself in a lot of trouble. You can cause a lot of unnecessary stress for yourself from listening to the wrong voice. So just learn how to be an observer, figure out who you want to be, find the people that are the types of people you want to be, or are in the situations you want to be in. And I like your idea, your challenge to read those affirmations 3 times a day, and even taking that a step further, and not saying you have to do that, but anybody out there, because you hear people that talk about, oh, we don't need positive affirmation or affirmations, they're stupid, yada yada yada. They are important for you, but one of the things that I actually started doing, and I'm not doing it 3 times a day, I need to get my scheduling together, but there are a couple of apps out there where you can actually record your voice saying these affirmations. And again, whose voice are you listening to? Why not listen to them in your own voice?
Yeah, does your that was a question I posed before you got here. Does your own voice, the one on the cassette, or now I guess digital recording, does it freak you out like I sound like that?
No, because I've heard myself so many times.
I know, I'm
now
the same way. I've got the headphones on doing so much stuff. I'm like, yeah, no, all right.
Yeah. So no, but that's, you can set some of them, you can set it on repeat. And so instead of sitting and allowing all this negative chatter to just continuously play, why not record yourself with these affirmations and listen to that on repeat while you're doing your household chores or running errands or whatever you're doing?
It's awesome. And I find myself throughout the day going, I'm not going to get angry. I want to be, kind of, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm not going to pass judgment here. And it's helped. It's really walked me through a lot of things. Lisa says, a professional gaslighter? I probably dated him. And then I love what she says here too. Be the observer, not the absorber. And right now in society, I think we have, that could be a show either for your show or ours. I mean, a lot of people just absorb it, get angrier and angrier and angrier. Now I hate everybody. And oh, you're wearing cowboy boots, you like Jason Aldean, you racist,
right.
Like,
where'd that come from?
Even and you're brown.
Right. You're not supposed to do that.
But then I like what Shana says too, is that all the other mammals use instinct without overthinking. And I mean, so let's take the snake on the tank. His instinct was to look at me like, what are you doing right now? And then go, let me slither away, right? Where he could have been like, I'm gonna bite you, right? I mean, anywhere. I mean, I was literally wide open. Hey everybody. We've got some bad weather right now, so I'm just like chatting at you from the booth, trying to get the Wi-Fi back up and running. I just thought I would jump in this way. Let's see if I can jump in back into the studio. Fun stuff. Must be a pretty bad storm. So it looks like we are close to being on. So we're just going to keep reloading some stuff. You can listen to me, or I mean, it's close enough to the top of the hour. What do you want to do, Demond? Do you want to jump back on and say goodbye, or do you want to, yeah, or do you just? I can get us out here.
Yeah, let's just.
Oh wait.
Uh-oh, wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Gonna enter studio, and oh, there we are. There we are.
Hello, hello.
There.
All right. We're
Very crazy. Very crazy.
Amazing. Yeah, we'll then we got a couple of quotes up there or comments up there.
Yeah. That's really good. Jen says,
yeah.
Let's just we'll wrap this up. Getting crazy, but we'll wrap this up. Sorry, we lost a little bit of the internet, and that's okay. We can look at myself. I don't know what's going on. Jen says, have you heard the 17-second rule? It takes 17 seconds for your mind to produce a thought on the same vibration level as the previous thought. I have not.
I have not either. Interesting.
Yeah. So train your brain, she says, not to dwell on a negative thought longer than 17 seconds because a matching thought will be right behind it 17 seconds later. That's interesting. So, okay. And what's her name? Mel
Robbins.
Mel Robbins, right? The 5, 4,
5
3, 2, 1, and then action, right? So I could see that. Lisa says, speaking the negative out loud also makes your brain hear it with your adult filter. Yeah. And that's, you know, and that's the tough part of it. That's why I say I use that you're not good enough. I burn that in to the playlist, right? To motivate me, to use as motivation as a 18-year-old kid, 19-year-old kid. And it's burned in there. Little did I know that throughout life, you know, if there's a bump in the road or whatever, that playlist is like, whoop, hey, remember this when you were 18 and it motivated you? Now it's like, I don't know, I'm not good enough. Right? Did it motivate me? I don't know. So I think the voice in your head is always got to be one of whose is it? And that's the first question. Whose is it? And the second, I think, would be why am I hearing this?
Yes.
You know,
why am I hearing this? Where did that come from?
Yep. And we can tend to. There are great people in life who have had great lives, who listen to a tape long enough, listen to a voice long enough, whether it's society's voice or whatever, that then says, I'm to your point, you're not supposed to be there.
Right.
But why?
And that's where, you know, that's why it's so important to learn to be the observer of that. So you can say, okay, that's not right.
Yeah.
So what is the truth? And to go to, you know, what Jen talked about before is replacing it with the truth.
Yeah.
We have to learn as adults. And what's the Facebook user's name? Lisa, you know, talked about a lot of those voices we hear are our child voice or the voices that we heard when we were children. And we have to learn how to listen in our adult voice and say, okay, that's not true. I don't have to accept this as my reality.
Right.
And with that, you start to train your own voice, so you know what voice to listen to.
And I love that. And I love that. And I one of the
I like
voices
that.
one of the voices that I hear, let's see, it's really booming. Yes, we're in a good storm. Do I have evidence of that? Is another good self question. Yeah, I love that. Also another is compared to who.
Mm-hmm.
Toby, my brother, how are you? Says appreciate y'all doing what you do, keeping some normal in my life from the flat fire in Oregon. Yeah, man, I've been praying for you. You've been in my thoughts, and I hope you being out there, first responder on the medic side. I love you for that, Toby. It's amazing.
I hadn't heard about that.
And he's got a neat new program. Hopefully, will be going off here once the strike is kind of taken care of. But it's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's gonna be cool show. You should be on it.
Yeah. What show?
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Oh, that's the name of the show.
It's a reality show. I think too. Also, another is compared to who. When it comes to that voice in your head, is he says you should be on there. Lisa says thank you and be safe. That voice in your head, it has to be your voice.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't hear your voice, if you hear your dad's voice, if you hear a coach's voice, and it's not a memory, right? There's a difference,
right?
Where you're ruminating in it. You have to switch it to your voice. You have to say, wait a minute, I need to hear that from me,
right?
And if you're able to realize it, recognize it, and then say, I need to hear that from me, now we've got a chance.
Yeah.
I think.
Yep.
Right.
No, that makes sense.
And listen, next week, I think it'll be fun. I want to kind of keep going on this. I think it'll be fun with Coach. I want to get Coach's
yes, absolutely,
take on this too, because he is he's military trained.
Right.
So do you hear that, drill sergeant?
True.
So he's got a couple of different avenues, and of course, with what they do with brain training, it would be interesting to see. Right. If it's in your voice, it means at some point there was a decision of acceptance. It's perfect as you can change your mind. Yeah.
Yep. The brain is malleable.
That's it. Listen, we got to run. Metaphysical Mandarin's coming up at the bottom of the hour. Sorry about the interruption. Got a boomer of a thunderstorm going on outside the studio right now. Just one of those good summer showers. Maybe that's why the snake was on my tongue. It's like, hey man, it's gonna
rain's coming.
it's going rain. Love seeing my longtime wise friend Damon K. Ross. And you need to be on her show.
I want to, definitely.
You need to be on there. Be blessed, be safe, everyone. Big storm. For all of us here at 21.6 Net, thank you for getting caught in the net with us. Spending some time with two bald guys and a microphone. Until we meet again, be safe. But listen to that voice in your head. Whose is it? Start paying attention to it. And I like what you say. Is this society's voice thrown in my head?
Yep.
And if so, why?
Yep.
Right. Until then, everybody, be good.